All right, can everybody see my computer screen? If you can, just give me a thumbs up, please. Awesome. Well, good afternoon, and thank you all for joining us. My name is Lauren Cotian. I work at the UAB Office of Student Involvement and Leadership, and through my role here, I've had the great pleasure for the past, I guess, year and a half now, almost two, of serving NASPA-Alabama as the communications coordinator. An idea that we had over the summer months in preparation for NASPA-Alabama's next academic year was to bring together some key communicators from across the state to become what has evolved to be our institutional liaisons. And so it's really my pleasure to welcome you all as our very first group of institutional liaisons. And we truly hope that this will be a meaningful experience for you to help connect both you further to NASPA-Alabama, but also your professionals at your institution to our state's association as well. We have quite a few things that we're going to cover today within the hour that we're together. First, my colleague, Dr. Brandon Brown, who will introduce himself shortly, is going to share more about our association. I don't want to make any assumptions that you're familiar with NASPA-Alabama, but I'm certainly excited that you'll have a chance to learn more about us through your involvement as an institutional liaison. We will also share the purpose and charge of this group. I recognize that you are likely appointed or nominated by your Chief Student Affairs Officer, so we want to ensure that you understand what you have signed up for or been signed up for on behalf of your institution. We also are going to share some upcoming opportunities, which will really play a key role in sharing things that are happening within the state back to your campuses. And then finally, we'll conclude by sharing some next steps, as well as asking if you have any questions at that point in the presentation. Do know we're a pretty small group though, so we can keep it casual. If you have any questions as we go through, don't hesitate to use the chat or unmute yourself. Both Dr. Brown and I will moderate that as we go. So I'll turn it to Dr. Brown.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all again for being here and taking the time. Like Lauren said, I am Dr. Brandon Brown, and I serve as an Associate Dean of Students and Director of Residence Life and Housing at Birmingham Southern College here in Birmingham. And I also get to serve as this year's State Director for NASPA-Alabama, and it has been a great experience so far. Just a little bit about NASPA-Alabama. It is what I like to always reference to as a one-stop shop for networking, advocacy, professional development, and communication to our state for our institutional members and our practitioners across the state. And so our main goal is to provide professional development opportunities, again, communication, from not only a large NASPA, but also our Region 3 of NASPA that I'll share a little bit more briefly here in a second. We're trying to align both of these organizations and align with these organizations to provide our membership, our state's membership, some professional development opportunities and connection. We align ourselves with Region 3. And so to give you a little bit, we are the state organization of NASPA. So on behalf of the state of Alabama, and then we recognize ourselves and associate ourselves with Region 3 of Alabama. And so kind of the South and Southeast region of the US in connection to our larger NASPA organization as a whole. They have 4 strategic goals, and that we try to make sure that all of our programs and our outreach and our professional development opportunities align with. Just briefly, those are focus on professional development and engagement, focus on equity and inclusion and social justice. The third one is focus on health and well-being of our practitioners and students, and then navigating the future of student affairs profession. So this main thing that we're doing here with our institutional liaisons are not only providing that communication, but another professional development opportunity. And so aligning with that focus on professional development and engagement strategic goal of Region 3. With that being said, again, this is a key way for you all and our board of directors to provide a great resource for your campuses, your professionals and practitioners who work on your campuses with the professional development opportunities that our board puts on for our state.
And so the purpose of the institutional liaisons is really twofold. Having heard a little bit about our association, one of those strategic priorities that Brendan shared is that we are hoping to focus on professional development and engagement. And so as we think about those two concepts, really first centering in on engagement, we're trying to figure out how we can get more members across the state involved throughout the year. Pretty traditionally, NASPA-Alabama has hosted a drive-in conference. So a lot of the ongoing engagement happens in that short window of time at the drive-in conference, but there's so much more beyond just that one-time experience per year. So we hope, firstly, that as the institutional liaison, you will become more engaged in NASPA-Alabama through ongoing communications and opportunities to connect with other liaisons as well. Hopefully, even maybe that could lead to you applying to the board of directors, for example, one day if you have an interest to do so. But we also hope that through you, we will be able to more broadly engage the rest of the state's members. And so our hope is that each institution has a key communicator. You can help us get information in front of them that frankly, we just don't have the access to do, right? We can send out an email, but if someone sees it from NASPA-Alabama and is not quite sure the benefit of the association for them at that point, that might come better from a trusted mentor, colleague on their campus, such as yourself. And so we really are hoping to focus in on that professional development opportunity sharing through a more engaged membership. We also just want to ensure that everyone's aware of these opportunities. So awareness is really important. I think that goes hand in hand with engagement. We don't want to see any of these opportunities being underutilized. So I'll give an example. This summer, we had a grant opportunity, a diversity and inclusion grant. You know, we didn't see quite the numbers we had hoped to have roll in for applications for that grant. And that's just free money. So we want to share opportunities like that back with your institutions through you to ensure that you all have that information, know about the opportunities, and can share it with those that might have an interest in participating. And so that's really the purpose. Again, that engagement piece is central to that. The process and kind of what this will look like for you in this role really starts with your appointment. And so annually, we will be reaching out to the Chief Student Affairs Officer at your institution and inviting them to indicate who should serve as the institutional liaison for the upcoming academic year. Since this was a new initiative, this happened a little later in the year than we hope or anticipate this happening moving forward. Our goal would be that we are identifying these individuals from year to year in the late summer, likely in July, to have this initial meeting early fall so that you all can get information as soon as possible as we roll into the new year. You all were appointed by your Chief Student Affairs Officer, so thank you for your willingness to take on a role that you might not have known very much about. Upon first learning that this has been assigned to you, we want to recognize that this is an additional role on top of your primary responsibilities, and we have structured this to hopefully keep it as minimal as possible in terms of the extra commitment you're having to provide to help us execute our mission of engaging our members. And so what it will look like from here, there will be one time a year, so this is it, where we will come together officially to kind of have a charge meeting where we will share the purpose of NASPA, the purpose of this role, and opportunities at that time, and also to allow you to ask questions and meet other institutional liaisons. Moving forward, whether it be monthly or bi-monthly, depending on the time of year for NASPA-Alabama, you will receive email communications from us. And so if your email were to change, please reach out to us and let us know so we can make sure that that stays up to date. We hope that you will, proactively see those, open them, and then share that information out in the email, whatever that may be, with your institution. And so it'll really be in a digestible way so you can kind of copy and paste to push it out even further to your institution and our NASPA-Alabama members. We do want you to share this across campus, but also share it in other associations and networking groups you're a part of within the state. The more people we can reach, the better. In addition to this, the one piece that isn't mentioned that we're really hopeful of is that you all will come to our drive-in conference. And there could potentially be an opportunity for us to connect in person at the drive-in conference, since we're only able to connect virtually for now due to all of our different distances. And so it's a pretty simple, or at least we hope you feel like it's a simple commitment. It's mostly opening emails, reading and digesting the information, and then sharing it back out with your campus community.
Yes, and so with that being said, there are a host of upcoming opportunities for our state's membership to get involved in. First, that's our board of directors. We have approximately 12 in professionals who serve on our board of directors. And they're there as Lauren has placed them there. So our state director elect is our available position. Starts with our state director elect, our conference chair elect, our recognitions coordinator, our communications coordinator, a NUF coordinator, 2 members at large, and new this year that we've created is a professional development coordinator that will help us to carry out professional developments throughout the year after our annual drive-in conference. Again, these are voluntary positions, and so yes, they do come second after your primary role on your campus, but we put in a lot of work in order to host several opportunities for our state's professionals and practitioners to come together. This doesn't just include our student affairs practitioners, but this also can include our academics and our folks who work in academic affairs who are teaching in our higher education or student affairs programs. And so we do try to create a connection there. But again, opportunities that are one of our main opportunities, I would say, is serving on our board and giving back to not only the profession, but also to our state in which we work. Other opportunities that we have is like Lauren stated, is our annual drive-in conference. This year will be hosted at the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa. And so on January 21st, we will have an in-person conference on their campus. But then additionally, and for again, this year, we will have our New Professionals Institute on the 20th of January of next year. And so if your new professionals can't attend a drive-in conference, and we know and understand that there may be financial barriers there, but this is a smaller conference, a more intimate feel for our new professionals to come together and not only learn from each other, but also be in the same place in a virtual option. As we know that, limited funds may be there, but also want to provide a space for them as well. And so that is an opportunity, one of our, I would say, premier opportunities for professional development, where we have a host of program presentations, panel discussions, some kind of functional area, roundtables, if we will, but a really great opportunity for that connection piece and that engagement that we talked about earlier is at our conference. Another opportunity, again, if not only for our new professionals, but also for some of our graduate students and undergraduates, if they wish to attend a conference based on student affairs, is our conference scholarships. Each year, we try to provide the opportunity for our undergraduates and graduate students and new professionals to attend the conference with a free registration. And so this year, as you all can see from the scholarship timeline, is that the application is already open. And so they can apply for the scholarship, but be mindful that that does close on December 3rd. And so if you have any graduate students, new professionals that you think that, this conference will help them in their professional development, or you want to nudge some undergraduates to kind of think about the field of higher education and student affairs, then this is a good way to kind of get them plugged in and try to get them to come to our conference to see about it. And hopefully with a free registration. And so again, December 3rd is the applications when it closes, and then those recipients will be notified in mid-December.
This is actually one of our scholarship recipients from this past year, Maya Morton. She was a new professional that worked at UAB, and she was so kind to record a video to talk about her impact from attending the conference and receiving the scholarship. And so I'm going to play it for you all. It's pretty brief just to hear her direct impact. I am going to stop my share briefly and reshare to make sure that that audio is working. So I'm going to do that here now.
Hi, my name is Maya Morton, and I currently serve as the Coordinator of Student Activities in the Office of Student Involvement and Leadership at the University of Alabama at Birmingham. I was awarded the New Professional Scholarship for the 2021 NASPA-Alabama Conference, and I am really appreciative of that scholarship because it gave me the opportunity to attend the conference and network with new professionals like myself and learn about some of the same challenges they were facing and compare them to the challenges I was facing as a new professional. But I also got a chance to have conversations with older, more seasoned professionals and learned from some of their past experiences. I encourage all professionals to attend the NASPA-Alabama Conference because it's a great way to get in touch with other student affairs professionals across the state so that we can start working towards tackling the same issues together.
And so again, if you have a new professional, this is really a great way, low cost, obviously, because they'll get a scholarship to attend to help them engage more broadly in their development. In addition to the conference scholarship, at the conference, we present our annual awards. And so we currently have the awards process open, much like the other deadlines. This is open and it will close on December 3rd. There are a variety of awards across all different professional development levels. We have a Rising Star Award, for example, for our younger staff. And then it goes up to Outstanding Student Affairs Professional and everything in between. And so if you have a colleague that you really think deserves recognition, I would strongly encourage you to visit our website, which I'm going to show you when we finish up here today, and to look at the list of awards and nominate someone, but also encouraging those people at your schools to do the same thing. Last year, I don't know if we have anyone from UA present, but last year, UA really took home all of the awards for the most part. And so they really, made a big impact, a big splash. And we'd love to see other institutions across the state also be recognized. So while we love UA and we've got some UA board members on our board, we definitely want to spread the love in terms of being able to really identify exceptional staff across the state and use this time to really recognize their accomplishments and hard work. The process is completely virtual, and so you can access the nomination form as well as the deadlines and award categories through our website. In addition to awards, we hope to open we will open our program proposal process very soon. We're in the process of getting that on our website as we speak. So any day now, that'll be a component of our events page on our website, which you'll see shortly. The deadline for program proposals will also be that December 3rd date. So lots coming up soon and closing around December 3rd. This is a great opportunity for you if you plan to attend the conference, but also the colleagues at your institutions to really share the great work you're doing on your campus and to help us identify best practices. This is a great way. I have actually personally presented at NASPA-Alabama. It's a great way to get involved with the association. It was my first exposure to the association, and now I've served on the board for 2 years. And so just a good opportunity to share your expertise with a broader audience and connect with colleagues in doing so. And so I want to talk about next steps, but before I do, I want to give everyone a moment. If you want to use chat or unmute yourself, what questions do you have for us at this point? Any questions that we need to address? All right, well, I'm going to take the silence as y'all are good to go, and we'll keep pushing through. So our next steps, and if you think of a question, by the way, feel free to intervene or to put it in the chat and we can certainly answer as you submit it. But our next steps are really going to be this resource sharing component. And so there are 2 ways I want to do that today. First, there's a QR code here. This is going to be giving you access to a Google Drive. I will show you the contents of that drive here shortly when we finish the presentation content. But within the drive, also you have been added. So you should have received an email notification on Friday indicating you have access to that drive. So you can access it either through the QR code, which again, this video will be shared out, or you should be able to directly access it. Just go into documents shared with you through your own personal Google Drive. Our goal is that we would drop what I'm calling a deliverable. So content literally that you can copy and paste to share out with your divisional newsletters or however you communicate with colleagues at your institution. Those documents will be shared there. So at whatever time you need it, you can go in and pull those resources. In addition to that Google Drive, those same resources will be shared with you via email. We do not want to overflow your email, and so we will limit ourselves to once a month in email correspondence. And sometimes it might even be bi-monthly, depending again on the time of year and the number of resources available to you at that time. We would ask that you explore that Google Drive following this meeting. In fact, it looks like we'll probably have some time left that we accounted for staying together. So I'll encourage you to use that extra time you're gaining back to go and explore those resources and go ahead and share those out with your institution. Our first deadline is November 19th. That's coming up soon for the available board of directors positions. And then our second upcoming deadline is December 3rd. And all communications will be organized by deadline. So as you're thinking about what's most pertinent to get out to your institution, you can see those deadlines and make sure that you're lining up those communications as such. We also hope that you join us at the conference. This year's registration is already open. And like I mentioned, it would be fabulous if we have a big group of liaisons attending to come together and to meet each other in person. And so that's something I would love to do if you all decide to register. Registration's open on our website. It's also something we would encourage you to go ahead, even though the deadline is not for quite some time, but to share that with your colleagues so that you can all get the early bird discounted rate. And so I want to encourage you to do that as well. We're going to go ahead and jump over. I'm going to exit out of this for a second and look at our NASPA-Alabama website. So you should be able to see the website here. I'm going to drop the link in our chat in case you want to pull this up yourself. This link is also going to be readily available for you in the Google Drive at any point for referencing purposes. This is really the virtual home for all information any state member would need at any point. And so whether it's connecting with Dr. Brown or learning about the board of director positions, perhaps even contacting someone if you have an interest in a position, or registering for our conference, among other opportunities. The awards information is listed here. Scholarships and grants, involvement opportunities, a couple I didn't mention that are somewhat ongoing at this point. We do have a conference committee who is working, as well as a scholarships committee who is working together to really be able to identify the award winners for those annual awards I mentioned and scholarship recipients. So if you know someone who wants to get involved, isn't sure what a great first step would be, these two options are great opportunities as well. NASPA-Alabama also sends out a newsletter somewhat regularly. It depends again on the time of year. You can go back and see some of the past things we've been working on, as well as see some of our more recent newsletters. And then one of my favorite components, which I certainly would encourage you all to use, if there is something unique happening on your campus or within an association you're part of that you think would be relevant to share with NASPA-Alabama, you can use our publicity request form, and we will include that information in newsletter, or if relevant, in an email to our state's members. So we hope that this will be mutually beneficial and that we're asking you to share information with your institution. And likewise, we're happy to share your information as well if it's relevant to all state members. So you can use the publicity request form to do that. We have a quick side panel to navigate to these components. I'm going to actually jump over to our events tab and go to the register here button so that we can see a little bit more about the upcoming drive-in conference. So this is where you'll see all the relevant deadlines, a little description. You can actually register here as well. And so as you're directing your states or your institutions employees to this opportunity, you could encourage them to use that link. You can see the rates are posted here. Those align with the early bird, regular, and on-site rate. You can also access the conference scholarship from here, as well as our schedule at a glance to kind of see an idea of what all will be happening on these 2 days. Again, this includes our New Professionals Institute as well as the drive-in conference. Once our program proposals are live, that link will live here as well. Again, we're working to get that posted to the website as soon as possible. Awards information, I mentioned to you all that we have a variety of awards. I'll jump over to that and kind of give you a glance at what some of those are. We have a Future Leader Award, Rising Star, Outstanding Contribution to Student Engagement, Spirit of Diversity, Region 3 Outstanding Service Award, an Outstanding Mid-Level Student Affairs Professional, Outstanding Contribution to Student Affairs through Teaching, and Outstanding Performance as a Senior Student Affairs Officer. So lots of opportunity to highlight the good work happening on your campuses. One other that's not mentioned there, but will be included in the Google Drive information you receive, is that we would like to recognize our retirees this year at the conference. So if you all have retirees that have really contributed to the profession, we'd love for you to share that information with us so that we can highlight their contributions as well. And so again, the state's website is going to be a great resource anytime you don't know something, because people are going to come to you as the institutional liaison, or at least that's our hope initially, and connect to you as an expert and source of information. This is a good place to just pull up to start to see if you can find that information. And if you can't, Brandon or I will be a great next step. We certainly want to connect with you to provide you the information you need and to get that member engaged. Any questions about what you've seen here? Hopefully it's pretty straightforward. I'm going to jump over now to our actual Google Drive folder, which you all should have access to. And so let me go back. Okay, so this is what you should see when you open the Google Drive folder. Again, we will prioritize the information by deadline. And so if you're thinking about what you might want to share most immediately with your institution, you may want to look at that most immediate deadline. And so we'll double click here, and then there will be one document within that deadline. You can open it and you can identify, honestly, just copy and paste the information that's relevant. And so this is saying nominations are open. It's already links to the nomination form. Make sure when you copy and paste, you maintain these links. And then it gives a description of every position that's available. Again, this one is for our upcoming Board of Director elections. And so we tried to make it in a format that would be easy for you to share out broadly. And so this is an example of our November 19th deadline. I'm going to jump back here. Our December 3rd has quite a bit more information. As you've already heard us say, there's several different things. So I did break this one up based on the topic, so you could share that as needed. Again, the conference registrations one we certainly want you to highlight, the call for retirees information, as well as nominating a colleague for a NASPA-Alabama award. You could certainly put these in one email to your institution. You know your colleagues better than we do, and so whatever you feel like might fit for them, or if you have newsletters. But again, we tried to put the links being active in a digestible way that it doesn't require much action beyond copying and pasting to share that information back out. In the primary drive, you'll also find access to our publicity request form, as well as some NASPA-Alabama resources. I anticipate that these will grow as we move forward with institutional liaisons, but at very minimum, you have access to the NASPA-Alabama website, as well as our YouTube channel. The YouTube channel, which I'll actually jump over to, has a number of resources, specifically all of our sessions from last year's conference. So if you're also looking for a really low cost way to provide professional development to your staff, you can share this with them as a great resource and an opportunity to really learn more, especially if they missed last year's conference. You can also see several of our board of directors introductions here if they're wanting to learn more about the available positions, as well as watching last year's awards banquet. Again, everything was virtual last year, so it's pretty easy for us to record, but I do think that that makes for a great resource through our YouTube channel. Questions about the Google Drive or what we're requesting of you as it relates to sharing this information? No questions? All right, well, we'll jump back and finish up our time together.
Well, I do hope the information that Dr. Cotan shared is very helpful for you all for the year ahead. And as you all serve in this position, it seems like we don't have many questions. And so I'll wrap it up here for us. But I really just want to say beforehand, before you really truly get started in your roles, is thank you so much. One thing that our board does or try to do is to already be institutional liaisons, but we see that not only during our particular roles, but also our day-to-day jobs or career roles, it can become a little bit harder for us to do that. And so having other folks on these individual campuses to share what NASPA-Alabama is doing, what NASPA Region 3 is doing, and overall larger NASPA is doing, it will serve, I think, would be very helpful for us. So thank you for taking the time, not only today, but also serving this capacity for your institution. Like Lauren said, we have a couple different ways that you all can reach us. Again, I'm at Birmingham Southern, and so my email is there, and then Lauren's email is there as well. Well, we also have a NASPA-Alabama email account, and so if you can't remember my email or Lauren's, just naspaal@outlook.com is for sure way to contact us or to at least ask a question. And that's for anybody, not only just for you all as institutional liaisons, but also for anybody throughout our state who has a question. And again, I would encourage you all, if you are active on social media, we are very active on Instagram particularly. And so if you have the time now, if you can take out your phone and just follow us on Instagram. If you don't get the email from Lauren directly, you will see it on our Instagram account of anything that is coming up on behalf of NASPA-Alabama. So please follow us and please share the Twitter handle with your divisions and with your colleagues on your campuses, because we really are very active in trying to get that out there. And then, like Lauren said, of course, we have the YouTube channel there. But overall, y'all, thank you so much for what you're going to do on behalf of NASPA-Alabama, but also for your professionals on your campuses. That's it. Are there any questions that we can round up? Go ahead.
I was just going to say the same thing. We can stick around if you got to hop off. Hopefully getting 30 minutes of your day back is a nice addition, but Brandon and I both will stick around and happy to answer any questions you have.
I think y'all summed things up really nicely, so thanks.
Cool. Thank you, Sarah.
All right. Thank you so much for hosting this and giving us some more information.
Absolutely. Thank you all for attending.